Hello, friends. This is Vishakha Daga coming up with a new round of social issues through NCRT, where we will try to cover important social issues for you by comprehensive coverage of NCRT. And whenever anybody asks you what are the most important social issues in India, then the answer could be patriarchy, poverty, and caste. And in this video, we're going to cover the caste. We will cover what is the meaning and the features of caste, and overall we will also talk about that is India still the republic of caste. So let's just move ahead. But before that, let me give you a comprehensive picture. What are the topic we're going to cover in the entire series of the caste? We will talk about meaning and features of caste. We will talk about the evolution of caste, the difference between Varna and Jati, perspective on caste like Gandhi Ji and Ambedkar, different kind of perspective are existing. We will also talk about the changes in caste, that is caste old and caste new, and especially talking about different new features of caste like dominant caste. So let's just move ahead and let's see what we'll discuss today. Today we will discuss what is social stratification. Along with that, we will discuss the meaning of caste and the features of caste. So let's move ahead and see what we have in this video for us, that is caste. Now, before that, there is a very famous statement given by Suren Jodhka. This is a statement you can use in introduction and conclusion of your answer, which can create a really good effect. The statement is, beneath the veneer of modern developing superpower, India remains a republic of caste. That means we adopted democracy almost 70 years ago. And at that time, we wanted an egalitarian society where there will be lesser a space for the caste and gender-based inequality. However, many features still says that India have still existing features of the caste. And in this, we will discuss this, whether still the caste is existing in India or not. Now, before that, we need to understand caste. And before understanding caste, we need to understand what is social inequality. Now, let me talk about social inequality. I'll give it in a real life example. Per se, this is a family of three sons. So we have a family of three sons, A, B, and C. And here, father decided to inherit his property, which is nearly, imagine 100 rupees, which is, I'm giving an hypothetical example. Out of 100 rupees, he decided to give 70 rupees to one son, and then 15 rupees to other, and other 15 to other. Now here B and C might be in equal position. Overall, there is inequality in between the three sons. And this is called economic inequality because of unequal distribution of wealth. So what is inequality? Inequality is that actually happens to a person because of unequal distribution of resources. Now here, social inequality occurs due to unequal distribution of social resources. If social resources are unequally distributed in between the people, that cause social inequality. And what are social resources? It is wealth, power, and status. Wealth means money. Now you know Ambani have lot of wealth, so he belonged to the upper class, right? And those people who live in Dharavi or any slum, they do not have much money and they belong to very lower class. So here, unequal distribution of wealth causes social inequality. Again, power. Now, Prime Minister have a lot of power. He can exercise his will upon the people. However, a rickshaw, the one who is running rickshaw, does not have a much power, and he is considered as least powerful member in one of the least powerful member in society. So power is also unequally distributed, and so is status. Status means prestige, dignity that comes from the work you do and from your standing in society. Per se, a Brahman, even if he's poor, does not have a much money, he's respected in society because the status is associated with him. Now, this is status. An example can be family as well. In a single family with similar status of a wealth, a man is respected more than a woman because he has a higher status, because the status is unequally distributed in society. This is called social inequality due to unequal distribution of social resources. Now, the moment social resources are unequally distributed, a hierarchy of ranking is created. That means because there is unequal distribution of resources, always unequal distribution does not create ranking. First, say if there is a saint in here and he decided to treat a king and a poor person same. Now he does not have a ranking in his head. But this is not sure with common people. Common people give king a higher ranking, right? Whereas a poor people lower ranking. A treatment is visible in there. This ranking of people due to differential evaluation and rewarding is called social stratification, right? So you have unequally distributed resources. This unequal distribution of resources has caused differential evaluation. That means you have associated judgment. A poor a poor is poor, fine, he does not have economic resource, but with that economic resource you have said, okay, he belong to lower member of society. If he is Brahman, automatically status will rise despite being poor. So you see, a judgment is there. Unequal distribution is not causing the ranking. Along with unequal distribution, it is the judgment. If poor Brahman or poor low caste is there, immediately it is the judgment that is causing the stratification, right? Both are poor, unequal distribution of economic resource, but one have a status, other one does not. That means it is judgment. So due to unequal distribution of social resources, if there is differential evaluation and then rewarding, this result into ranking. Ranking cause social stratification. An example of the social stratification is caste, gender, and race. Belonging to same family, same status, sorry, same access to resources, women have lower status and men have higher, because there is a differential judgment associated with this. Okay, I hope you have got the stratification in here. Stratification is nothing. First, there is unequal distribution of resources, and once the resources are unequally distributed, there is a differential judgment, evaluation, differential rewarding then, and later on differential ranking. That causes social stratification. Okay, so there is a particular sequence. Now, once you've got the stratification, understand caste is also a form of social stratification, right? It is also a form of social stratification. So what is this? It is a form of relatively close hierarchical stratification unique to India. That means caste is feature that is seen in India and Indian subcontinent, not across all over the world, right? In other parts of society, there is linguistic difference, there is a race-based difference, but we have caste. So here, first of all, what has happened is now, in order to cause a stratification, something need to be unequally distributed. Now, what is unequally distributed in caste? It is status. Remember, not wealth, though wealth is associated later, not power. And I give you an example. Even a poor Brahmin have higher status. Right now, he's poor. So Brahmin, despite being poor or rich, is going to have higher status. So what is unequally distributed in here? It is status actually, not wealth, not power. Maybe Brahmin does not have a power, but despite that, he's going to have a good status. So caste is what? Caste is a form of hierarchical stratification where status is unequally distributed, which cause differential ranking and rewarding. Right? Brahmin have a higher status, he's got a higher ranking, whereas a Shudra has got the lower status, and in between comes Kshatriya and Vaishyas, and rewarding is also different. Example, Brahma Hatya. Example, Gau Hatya. That means someone kills a cow. If Brahman does it, there will only be admonishment. He'll only be chastised by society. Ki, oh, you did wrong. Whereas if a Shudra does that, there will be definite punishment, flogging, killing, right? So differential rewarding and ranking is there. So this is understanding caste, where there is a closed hierarchical stratification. That means hierarchy is there, and it is relatively close because it is difficult for a Shudra to move to a Brahmin status, and there are only rare cases of Sanskritization, which we will discuss later. So it is relatively closed. Let's move ahead. The next is they are homogeneous community. That means member of particular caste identify that they belong to one particular community. Now you can see when you are on the road and you see Jat boys, right? So Jat boys have they have identity. They belong to one particular caste and they are proud of it. Next is the features of the caste. So we have understood the meaning of caste. It is a form of stratification based on unequal distribution of status, making the member as a close homogeneous community. So this is definition which is very easy to create once you have understanding of the feature, understanding of the basics. Now let's move ahead and understand the features of caste. Now, features of caste, I'm dividing in these are 6 features given by G.H. Ghure, who is a very famous sociologist, and he was the one first to talk about the features of the caste. The first 3 are hereditary, hierarchy, and segmental division. Hereditary means if you're getting something as a matter of birth and not by your personal achievement. So it is ascribed. That means by matter of birth, you're getting it. So if you ask a Brahmin, you're getting a higher status in society. You're respected among people. What did you do? The answer will be, I was born with it. He didn't do anything. You don't have to do anything. You get a status as a matter of birth. Lower caste is treated untouchable, not because they did something wrong in society, but because they were, the only crime was they were born in particular community. Second, hierarchy. If you belong to particular caste, you are definitely ranked in society. Per se, if you identify yourself as an Agrawal, who is a Banya community, then definitely in that moment or itself, you are having a rank which is lower than Brahmin. You will actually you bow in front of Brahmin, lower than Kshatriya, but higher than any Shudras. You'll treat Shudra as untouchable. You'll be like you belong to lesser community. So the moment you belong to particular caste, a hierarchy is there of hierarchy of rank and status. A Brahmin will be respected, a Shudra will not be. Again, there is a segmental division of society. That means a particular caste is again divided into subcaste. Example, Kshatriyas are a particular caste only. Again, the various kind of Kshatriya, Rajputs, Parmars are there, and then again Tomars are there. They are kind of basically Kshatriyas. Again, if Brahmins, you see, Brahmins are different, like Gaudiya Brahman, like Mathili Brahman. These kind of different kinds of Brahmins are present. Brahman who actually practices the birth ritual have a higher status than the Brahmin who does in death ritual. He's relatively lesser respected. So in one particular caste, there is a subcaste and differential distribution of status. Okay, so caste is that's why it is called caste divides. And it is because of these features that B.R. Ambedkar came up with a very good statement when he said that in Hindu society is like a tower. Because of features of caste, Hindu society is like a tower without any stairs, and in each floor lives people of one particular caste. Right? Like Brahmin lives in there, Kshatriya lives in there. Each floor lives a one particular member of caste without any stairs. What he meant by stairs is there is no social mobility. Whosoever is born in one particular caste dies in there. So he was talking about that means there is no social mobility in the caste members. So these are the first three features of the caste that you've understood. Now let's understand the last three features of the caste. That is, there is restriction on food and social interaction. That means from whom you can take what kind of food, whether you can interact in social, whether you can have friendship, you can eat together, you can use water from the public well, or whether what kind of marriage you can conduct, all depend on caste. Earlier, it was to such an extent that B.R. Ambedkar wrote in his article that in Maharashtra, if a low caste was entering a temple, he has to tie, not in temple village, he has to tie a broom across his waist so that he does not pollute the village. Even his shadow was considered polluted. Such was the level of pollution attached, restriction attached on the people of low caste. Now, you may think, now India is a republic. But however, even in present India, the cases are there wherein Shivpuri, Dalits were beaten to death because they were using water from the Commonwealth. There were cases where Dalit was beaten because they were riding horse on their marriages. Or the example of Una flogging. So always whenever you're quoting something, use the present example in order to substantiate your argument. So even in present India, the same caste features are existing. Let's take a second example, that is endogamy. First is restriction on food. Now, the fifth feature is endogamy. Endogamy means different caste people marry among the similar caste. That means a Jat will marry among a Jat, a Rajput will marry among a Rajput, a Brahmin will marry among the Rajput. They will not go for the intercaste marriage. Now, it is said after independence, we came up with secularization and so many features that intercaste marriage is taking place. But even now, according to NCAER data, only 5% intercaste marriages are taking place in India. So it still says the caste consciousness is still in minds of the people. And the last feature is that there is unrestricted choice of occupation. That means caste determine occupation. Example is Chamar. Now, is a particular caste that deals with leather, right? And that's why name is associated. And it was expected that this community will engage in similar kind of work. However, in post-independence period, these restrictions were taken away, and the SCs were given reservation as well. But when you see overall pattern of occupation, you see that manual scavenger, in which the people actually clean the society, especially the fecus from society, In the occupation of manual scavenging, the 90% representation is of the low caste community. Example, Valmikis. So this still says that in India, still the caste is guiding the occupation. And that's why it is said that despite 70 years of independence or 75 years of independence, India is still Republic of Caste. Now there is more to be seen, which I'll bring in the later series of the video. Stay tuned to it for that. But however, if you like this video, you need to like and subscribe it. If not, put your doubts in the comment section. Thank you so much.
Current Affairs by Forum IAS is an all-in-one program that covers the dynamic aspect of the syllabus from both prelims and mains perspective. Last year, we have helped more than 100 students crack IAS with our current affairs classes.